Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and this is your first of 4 fan-requested Friday matchups. Chris Cormier versus Keone Pearson, please. I love that they didn't put a certain version of Chris Cormier. I select my own, 2005 San Francisco Pro, one of my favorite versions of Chris. I have to say though, this is a bit of a lopsided matchup. Not much of a comparison at all, considering Chris Cormier. You know, guys, top 10 best, greatest bodybuilders of all time, in my eyes, aside from the striations and the glutes, the guy was perfect. And Keone is a 212 athlete. Come on now. But anyway, I guess, structurally speaking, aside from the size, their shape, pretty much the same. Keone has a Sports and Ice vacuum. Hard to get the sizes correctly. Keone is shorter than Chris, as shown here, but you notice Chris bending at the knees quite substantially. So very hard to nail the sizing. Go to the front lat spread, and there was no front lat spread from the San Francisco Pro of Chris Cormier. Oh, this is the Chicago Pro, obviously, of Keone Pearson. He won that. This is a winning version of both. I think Keone looks better in the front lat spread. I mean, it's kind of a bad picture of Chris. It's not straight on. It looks like he's already finished snapping the pose. I don't know. A little bit difficult to say. But either way, I think the smaller man deserves a one-up on this one. What do you guys think? I would say Keone gets the point, as ridiculous as that sounds. Turn to the side, and you can pretty much write that point off, guys. You got to think Chris Cormier, one of the greatest. Look at the size of him. And like I said, hard to get the sizes. Keone, quite a bit shorter than Chris. By this picture, it looks like he's maybe 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches shorter. But look at Keone's far leg. He's standing straight. He's the type of bodybuilder that does maximize his height. He's only short, so he was a classic physique division competitor. And that I think that they all try to do that. They get as tall as they can. Chris is just obscene here, guys. Look at the vascularity of him. 2005. This was at the tail end of his career. No spring chicken here. But he was probably in his prime, in my opinion. One of his best, if not his best version. Ranks right up there with the 99. Go to the side tricep. Keone looks good. Like in all the poses. I got no problem with Keone's physique. But he is going up against an equally aesthetic, equally muscled, same, maybe even better conditioned, much, much, much larger athlete in Chris Cormier. It's a no-brainer, guys. I believe the person that selected this, their name was even Chris. Chris Bumstead. Anyway, guys. I'd say it's a good matchup, but I'd be lying. There was several other comparisons that did make it in first. For those of you who do click to find out the very first comments on them Friday fan request matchups, there was Grand Prix versions of Kevin Levrone, British Grand Prix. Can't get that version. And there was other Grand Prix versions of Dorian Yates requested before this one. Can't get those, guys. You have to look them up. If you can't find any pictures at all, just screenshots. I'm not going to use screenshots. Go to the back shots. And I like to think that I do honor the very first requests, because you guys do the work to get out there first, but don't waste your request. And if I do comment on it, if you do comment back right away, I will do your request, but got to get these done. And this was, I believe, the third request. Doesn't matter though, guys. I could talk right through this. I believe what happened with Keone, maybe the same thing that happened with Justin Rodriguez at the New York Pro. He couldn't open up that lat spread. I know Keone has a better lat spread than this. Not very fair at all. Go to the rear double bicep and call it no fair. Call it fair. Doesn't really matter, guys. Keone Pearson stands no chance against Chris Cormier. It's a fact of just a much better bodybuilder, a much larger bodybuilder, and food for thought. I think he's in better condition as well, if you can believe that one. with all due respect to Keone Pearson, like I said, guys, top 10 greatest bodybuilders of all time, Chris Cormier. But that's just my opinion. Go to the abs and thigh. Have you ever seen such a good ab setup on Chris Cormier? Look at that, guys. That is perfect. Perfect. That is Sean Ray-like. That is Lee Priest-like. That is Chris Cormier-like. And once again, guys, with all due respect to Keone Pearson, he does not stand a chance against Chris Cormier. Finish this one off. Most muscular. And Fan Request Friday, I would like to think that I have some competitive matchups, sometimes some fantasy matchups, and matchups like this that honestly are just brutal beatings. And they're not fair to Keone. That's why they have the 212, division. They're for smaller bodybuilders. So maybe next time, throw in a little stipulation maybe, make Keone the same height, make him the same size as Chris Cormier. Chris is winning this one, guys. Chris is winning this one. One of my favorite bodybuilders, by the way, Chris Cormier, if you haven't realized that. Maybe my favorite bodybuilder from the 90s. He didn't really have a decade. He was right smack dab between the 90s and early 2000s. Come the middle of 2000, he was a little old. In the mid-90s, he was a little too young. He wasn't quite ready yet. So maybe missed his decade, missed his prime. But hey, he didn't miss this fan. One of the best, Chris Cormier, 2005 San Francisco Pro. Probably one of my favorite versions of him as well. Look forward to 3 more Fan Requested Friday matchups, guys. We have an awesome one coming up next. It's Chris Bumstead versus Ken Waller. Can you believe that one? Have a great day, guys.